Today we will be installing the FMC and the FTD. So I have done nothing. Okay, so this is my topology for right now, or the main topology will be this one. So I do have two FMCs and I do have one FTD one for now. So what I will do, I will just turn on these two devices and the FTD one. We will go ahead with the configuration and we will provide the IP addresses and everything. Once we are providing all the information, then we will go ahead and access the GUI part. Let's go ahead and turn on that one, FMC1. So go one by one. You see that it is running 6.6.1 version. Okay, and this is my FMC2. This is all the same thing. So when you start the FMC, this is how it will look. Okay, so this is 6.6.1 version. I do have the 7 versions. I will just start off with the 7 version, not with these versions. So I will go back to my this one, just create a new virtual machine. I do have an OVF file, click on next. I'm saying that this one will be FMC1. And there are my files. So these are the files. So I'm installing in the ESXi. So I will select this one and this one. Click on next. Data store. I'm not turning on because I need to show you the configuration, hardware configuration, and click on finish. So let that be installed. So until then, I will create one more. The same thing. That's the FMC2. Mostly in your production, you will be installing the FMCs as a virtual. So this is how you have to configure. So select the ESXi and VMware hard disk. Or if you are installing in the vCenter server, then you have to select this file instead of this file, ESXi. Instead of ESXi, you have to select VI when you are installing in your vCenter server. So maximum chances are they can be a vCenter server. Okay, not turning on. Now let these two devices finish up the installation. Until then, I will go ahead and I will start up with my FTD one. And you see that in the FTD one, it is running as ASA 9131. So with the FTD, the base code of the FTD is still ASA. So the base code is still on ASA. So that's the reason, if you remember yesterday, I told you the architecture that it will be a Linux operating system. Top of that, there will be FXOS and ASA. And top of that, there will be an FTD. So FTD is built on the base of ASA code. So that's why you are able to run, instead of FTD, you are also able to run as an ASA in the CLI mode. Correct? So my FTD one has been started. So I'll go back to, so it will take at least 15 to 20 minutes for FTD to come up. And for the firepower management centers, it will take up to 20 to 30 minutes, depending upon your resources. So currently, by default, what it will do is that it will have the 32 gigabytes of RAM for the FMC. But for our lab, 8 GB of RAM is enough. But in the production, at least you have to use 16 gigabyte to minimum should be 16, maximum should be 32 gigabytes. Right, so let's see which one is been installed. FMC1 has been installed, so I will click on that one. Go to edit. You see that 4 CPUs. For my lab, I'm running 3. You see that 32 gigabytes. I'm just giving 8. 250 gigabytes of hard disk, that should be fine. And you see that by default, it is also installing the serial port. You no need to connect that serial port, but you need to have the serial port in order to FMC to come up. So this is pretty important. If you do not see the serial port, just go ahead and add the serial port by clicking on add another device. Click on serial port. That's it. Don't configure the serial port. Just attach it because FMC will be looking for the serial port also while installing. Okay, so I'm not connecting. You see that it's just there. That's it. And I do have only one adapter. If you like, you can go up to 5 adapters, I think. But it's all depends upon like multiple adapters means you want to take access to the FMC via multiple IP addresses. Currently, I don't need that one, so that's why I'm just going with one, and that's it. But now here you see that 250 gigabytes of hard disk. That's not even enough for in the production size. In the production side, at least you will be having 800 to 1 TB of hard disk. Make sure that you have that much because you will be having a lot of configuration there. All right, so these are the configurations. I will click on save. So once done, I will click on power on. Click on console, open the new tab. And now I should see that it is 7.0.0. Just click enter and it will start installing your FMC. And again, it will take a lot of time. So I will go to FMC2 now. I will do the same thing. Assign this 3 virtual CPUs, 8 GB of RAM, and that's it. No other changes. Click on save, power on, and open the new tab. Now, once I click and enter, it will start installing. Now, if you go back to my topology, you see that I have installed the switch over here. Okay. So the reason was that I don't want to get the IP address from the DHCP. So now from the ESXi, it will automatically get the IP address from the DHCP and it will just ask you for the login credentials. That's it. If you do not have any DHCP servers on your management network, then it will ask you for the IP address, then it will ask you for the subnet mask, default gateway, and everything. Now, for example, if it does not ask you any configuration, then it will give you an IP address on this FMC saying that please uh, log into the FMC using that IP address. So mostly the IP address will be 192.168.45.45. So that is the IP address maximum time. So this will be the IP address. So if in case it does not shows any, it does not run through the setup of the IP addresses and all those things configuration. So this will be the IP address by default given to you. So what you have to do, you have to assign any system with this IP address and access the FMC GUI and configure the IP address and everything. So, yep. So I was supposed to install my FMC in the EVG, but the version is 6.6. I don't want to go with that one because we are already on the 7.0 and above 7.0. Now with the FTD, you see that it is still running. And with the FMC, it did not even started yet. If it is started, it will show you like this, okay, okay, okay. So you see that it's now started actually installing the FMC background. And in the foreground, you can see that my FTD is being installed. I will go ahead and I will also turn on the FTD2 also because I'm going to install FMC1, 2, FTD1 and 2. So it will automatically start for the first one, boot flash. Now let's go back to our topology and see that I need to configure my FQDN names, DNS name. So let's go ahead and configure the DNS name. And I also did not configure anything with respect to my management. So I have not allocated any IP address for the management. So what I will go ahead and allocate that IP addresses. So for the FMC1, I will go ahead with the 16 and 17. Let me have a look. I think I have given somewhere over here 16 and 17. I forgot to provide over here, not a problem. this one will be the 16th, this one will be the 17th, and this one will be the 19th, and FTD2 will be the 20th. So my management network is 172.16.1.0/24. So let's go ahead and create a DNS name for these guys. So 16 and 17, let's go ahead and create that one first. So I will go to my DNS server, click on tools, go to DNS, forward lookup zone, to my domain, right click, new host, and I'm saying that FMC1 IP address will be 172.16.1.60. And again, FMC2 172.16.1.17, and FTD1 will be 172.16.1.19, and FTD2 172.16.1.20. That's all. It's given cisco.com, so my domain is cisco.com. I will also change that one later on. All right, so that's been created. So I just need to create this one, that is server one. I think I do already have that one, or otherwise I will change that IP address. Let me have a look. Yeah, I do have a server one, but on a different IP address. I will change that one. I will delete the server two, because I don't have. Go to properties, and this one will be 40.1.1.2. And if you look at my topology, I do have loopbacks 1.1.1 and 2.2 to 1.2.2.2. So what I will do, I will just create one more two DNS name for this one also. What names do you want me to keep this one? Any suggestions? I do have a server. Sorry?
Any name is good.
That's why I'm trying to think about the names. Okay, we'll think about later on, but don't remember any good names.
That's the SRV one, right?
Sorry?
Is that not the SRV one?
SRV1 I've already allocated to this interface IP address.
Okay. So what's 1.1.1 and 1.2.2.2?
Those are loopbacks on my server again, on the
Okay.
DMZ servers. Loopbacks.
Okay.
So I given the IP address as wrong because it should be 40.1.1.1. So let's change that one. Okay, we'll come back to that one later on if we have a good name. So until then, that should be fine now. Okay, FTD1 still booting up, FTD2 still booting up, FMC1 still booting, and FMC2 still booting. So it will take at least 15 to 20 minutes to come up for FTDs and 30 minutes to come up with the FMCs.